Hey everybody, welcome to Local Business Hacks Podcast. I'm your host, Carl Case, and I'm on a mission to help you. Every week, we're going to be talking to local business owners and experts to get their best tips, tricks, and hacks to grow your business. This show is designed to teach you, inspire you, and motivate you to take massive action and start to build your future-proof business. Whether you're just starting off or you're taking your existing business to the next level, this episode is for you. So let's get started. Hey, local business hackers. I'm your host, Director of Global Business Development at Referrizer, joined today by the CEO of Zoom Room. And if you know my passion for dogs, you know I'm excited. Mark Van Wye. Mark, welcome to Local Business Hacks.
Thank you, Carl. It's great to be here.
So I know you've had a pretty incredible journey to get to this point. You mind telling our listeners about that journey and what brought you to CEO of Zoom Room?
Happy to do so. My background is in education of humans, and I'm also someone who really likes to make a difference. So working in school systems with governments and communities, no matter how great your idea is, it just takes decades, if that, to make real change. So I found myself drawn more to things like working with like the Boys and Girls Club of America, designing after-school programs for them. And what I loved about that was it instantly was scaling to millions of kids in locations across the country, kind of like a franchise, and a little foreshadowing there. But the teachers were not people with masters in education. They were volunteers, and they had no prior training. And so the curriculum, how they were being taught to teach, really had to come from the work that we were doing. And a lot of them didn't even have a GED, but they did an incredible job. They produced great results. And a great takeaway from that was learning that no matter how brilliant the curriculum was, it was the amount of time that caregivers spent with the kids that made the biggest, really lasting differences. And when the idea of dogs came up, at first because I was trying to get my own dog into agility, couldn't find any place, it began to dawn on me that the same philosophy of positive reinforcement works perfectly with dogs. I'm an outsider. I don't know that much about dogs, but I know that this is how you get a dog to do stuff. And it's the same thing you could do here. And the idea was, what if we could do that same thing? Get people just in a place to socialize with their dogs, to spend quality time. Just that alone would really move the needle. And no one had touched dog training. It was an undisrupted industry. No one owns the category, not just in the US, but worldwide. And I could do something kind of huge there. And that was really where it first started.
And fast forward today, where is Zoom Room and how can people get involved?
Our website is zoomroom.com, and we're an indoor dog training gym. Our real emphasis is socialization. We're now across 29 states. We've been growing rapidly. Yeah, we entered COVID with 9 stores open. Today, we have 40 stores open with another 75 in the process of development, so 115 total. So just closing out last year, we had quadrupled our footprint in only 2 years. And the growth just keeps on coming. And it's an exciting place for people frustrated with the market, looking to see what's happening in the pet sector. An analysis report just came out this last week that with all the cutbacks that Americans are doing in their spending, the exception is healthcare, no problem. And then number 2 is spending on pets. So business is booming. It's a great place to be to make a real difference in your community. And if you got a dog, it is the place to be to get the thing you can't get anywhere else, which is really socialization.
That's incredible. I can be a testament to not cheaping out on my dog anytime soon. She just had her 3-year anniversary when I adopted her, and she picked out everything she wanted in the store. It was awesome.
Oh, that's perfect. Happy anniversary.
Thank you. Mark, so talk to me a little bit about this journey that's gotten you and Zoom Room to this point. I mean, I can imagine that you've paid the idiot tax of what I like to call on some things, and you have quite the hack. So give us some of these stories that taught these lessons.
100%. We did all of the idiot stuff at the beginning. A lot of it was just the franchising. The part about creating a brand that people loved and responded to, we actually kind of nailed that at the beginning. And we've been able to improve things like unit economics over time. But I think the real mistake was just not understanding how to find the right franchisees, how to vet them, how to pick the right locations. And we really had to get to a point of scale. At the point in 2017, I brought in a VC so we could really build out the full vision, build out a full team of experts to help us guide the real estate process and construction and permitting, all of that, so that we're bringing in great outside help. And the first lesson was really when things were not going so well at the very beginning, just knowing to just take a beat. And as though you'd never want to turn the sign to closed, we did. We didn't close the business, but I stopped developing. I did not want to sell any more Zoom rooms until we absolutely had everything in order, till we knew that every store was profitable and the model was just rock solid. And so just taking that beat and really making sure that your house is in order before you push forward full press, that was the first big one. And I think the second biggest one really came from looking in the mirror. Like I was saying, I came at Zoom Room with, pretty great background in education, but I'm no dog expert. But I also am someone with a lot of skepticism about experts, like those teachers at the Boys and Girls Club. They didn't have masters in education from some Tony place. They did a fantastic job. I didn't. What do I know about dogs? Well, a couple of years ago, I wrote literally the best-selling dog training book in America. How? I drank our own Kool-Aid. I was like, we train franchisees to train their trainers, to train the clients, to teach their dogs. I should be able to go through that program and write a great book. And so I did. And so now as we keep staffing up and growing and we have to hire people, it's easy to be precious and think, oh, Zoom Room's so specific. There's no other business like it, which is true. But where it's not true is you don't have to only hire from within. You don't have to just promote people to these things thinking they're the only ones who are going to get the culture and this unique way we do it. So the first time we really brought in a big outside hire who just had incredible experience in franchising, nothing with dogs, I was really trepidatious. But then I thought, well, wait, that's me too. Like I was that guy. And she's been phenomenal. And since then, we've learned from that. It raises up the whole team. So we love doing promoting from within, but we've got to keep tempering it. And I think like the one hack I would really, really ask people to embrace is just don't ever shy away from the outside hires. Trust that you have built a great system. You've documented things. People can come in. If they're coming from bicycles, they can sell cookware. It's okay if they don't know espresso machines. They'll learn that. That's not the hard part. The hard part is the whole culture, staff management, facility. They'll bring that to you. And that's one of the smartest things I think that we've been able to accomplish. And I hope that's going to really keep guiding us as we keep growing.
That's awesome. And congrats to you. And what's this woman's name that we're so proud of?
Stephanie was the most recent one. And
shout out to Stephanie.
Yeah, shout out to Stephanie. She's our VP of operations. And we're now bringing on someone just to work with our multi-unit developers, the folks that are not just doing one-offs, but taking over a whole region, and bringing in someone who just has incredible expertise in design and architecture and construction. Bringing in these people, it really, really just lifts us all. And it's a delight.
That's incredible. Mark, do you mind going into detail a little bit and maybe sharing a story about the process of picking franchisees or awarding locations and what you've learned with that gives a little context to the hack you just shared?
Of course, when we're looking for franchisees, a lot of people, when they hear about, nobody wakes up and thinks, oh, I want to start a dog training business. That's where I want to put my money, right? People are looking for more the usual things. Maybe I'll open a quick serve restaurant. Maybe in pet, they're thinking, the obvious plays are daycare, which is very, very expensive and a lot of competition and is a lot of overhead, very expensive to start and operate, or grooming, things like that. Again, these things that are very played out and done. But dog training seems like, back to the same point, like you have to know so much, but you don't need to be. The idea of a guru or an expert or whisperer, it's so unnecessary. It is so simple to get a dog to do what you want. And once you just embrace how ridiculously, even idiot me can write the book, right? Literally the book on doing it, it's easy. And so the franchisees at first often have trepidation in, oh, but I don't know this. And where am I going to hire all these dog trainers? Like, you don't. You're going to get someone who works at Old Navy and is fantastic with people and is great at selling and is, someone who's a great yoga instructor. We'll teach them the dog stuff. We've got that. So getting people over their own imposter syndrome, their own feeling that this is not going to be right for them, and realizing that they're actually going to get to play with dogs all day and have so much fun and make such a difference in the lives of families who really, really just get excited to come in week after week and go through this sort of never-ending journey with us. And the second part is really location and making sure they're in a place that would support a lifestyle brand like this. So we really kind of focus on business, on like your business background. Have you been an entrepreneur? If not, what is it in your background? Because what we don't want to teach you is an MBA. We don't want to teach you what ROI stands for, things like that. We want you to come at this with a good business head. And if we see that in you, then you could very well be a great fit.
That's awesome. And obviously it's working. Zoom Room is now in how many locations?
We have 115 total as of today. 40 of them are open, and the others, we just had a couple of openings last month, 3 more coming up in the next week, and the other 75 are going to be rapidly opening up across the country.
So awesome. Mark, we got a bunch of avid readers on the podcast. I'd love to know from you, what are some of your favorite books that maybe you've read in the past or that you're currently reading that you'd recommend?
Well, Puppy Training in 7 Easy Steps is my own, which is great. I have another book that's going to be coming out very soon, just working with the publisher on that. But in terms of the books that I read for inspiration, Italo Calvino is one of my favorite writers. His book, Invisible Cities, is something I read and reread over and over again. Just this way of envisioning what a city can be and what life can be, breaking it down into the most imaginary beats. I just find it really is conducive to dreaming and to imagining things that haven't been done yet, but like where there's still green space up ahead. Another great storyteller I love is Dino Buzzati, who's sort of another Italian writer of his period, who tells spectacular tales that go to unexpected places. So for the surprise element of those, I really feel like those keep me on my toes and keep me sharp.
I've never heard of either of those artists or writers.
Enjoy them.
Excited. Thank you. I appreciate the gift. Mark, talk to me about your morning routine. You know, I've interviewed so many CEOs all over the globe, and it seems like we have a common trend. So I'm excited to hear yours.
I get up super early, whether I like it or not. It doesn't matter what's going on. If there's not an airplane, I don't set an alarm, but my brain and my body are out of bed at usually 5 a.m. or so. And because we're in lots of coasts and we're doing international stuff now, it's also helpful. We're working with some developers overseas on some technology projects. And so that helps them. So they're not like working in the middle of the night. But yeah, so getting up super early, coffee, followed by another coffee, little oatmeal, and very, very routinized. See my kid off to school. That's always a great thing. I usually make him lunch the night before. And then I just fight my inbox. I just get in there, see what there is, and I just want to make a meal of it. And before I really have even made a dent in the second cup of coffee, I try to clean that inbox. I just don't like things to stagnate. People appreciate prompt responses. I'm the CEO. So if it's coming to me, either it's not meant for me and I can just forward it to the right person, easy, or if it is, they're just wanting me to go, yes, no, whatever. And so it's respectful to them to give them something quick. So I try to do those and then save the more complicated stuff for later, maybe a little bit after that second cup. But that's me. I park myself in a chair. I could be working anywhere in the world. I don't need much of an environment. I don't care if I'm outdoors, indoors, anywhere. That's my morning.
That's awesome. So you did follow the common trend. Everybody on my podcast is getting up before 6 a.m. So we'll see who number one after 6 a.m. is going to be.
There you go. Not me.
Awesome. Mark, how would you say that you stay motivated each day with getting thrown 100 different curveballs throughout the day?
We have one really exciting opportunity and a guiding principle, and it's so simple, but it's also really ambitious. But as I said at the top, that really drives me. And that is, nobody owns this category. And so my job every day is one thing only, and it's making Zoom Room truly synonymous with dog training, to the point where it's not like we just have one here and one there, but where we have gated walls. We've got dozens of Zoom rooms in one metro area, so that, hey, let's meet for a coffee, Carl. I'll see you at Starbucks. Oh, you just got a new dog? Oh, you should take him to Zoom Room. Where it's just in the ether. It's not that we'll stop social media and marketing and stuff, but where it is just part of the vernacular, where you go to the rescue and the dog's got a little orange medallion because he's like the good housekeeping seal of approval. He's Zoom Room trained, where we're entering into the consciousness where that is just the word. That is the place where everyone knows that's who does dog training right. And to do that here and across the world, everything that I do, whenever we're allocating resource, whatever we're doing, it has to drive that one goal, because that's how you build a lasting brand that'll be around really forever. Dog training is rare in that it's not going anywhere with the future. You can't do it virtually. Dogs learn by their sense of smell and socialization. And people are coming to us not because they want to win dog shows, but because the way we are now as people is we want our dog to be part of the family. Take the dog to work, take the dog to the pub, take the dog on a camping trip. And when you go out for a walk and your dog starts barking or your dog's like biting a coworker, it's super stressful. You can't bring that dog to the Apple store with you. And so people are coming to us for that. And that's not training, that's socialization. And socialization doesn't happen in virtual reality. It doesn't happen with an app. It doesn't happen with any of that. So we have a reason to be on Main Street. We have a reason for brick and mortar. And so I know what we're doing is the right thing, and it's never going out of style. We'll keep mixing it up and giving people lots of fun reasons to come in, like besides training, to come in for birthday parties, like an anniversary for, like you just said, for your dog, or Valentine's Day, or for doggy disco night. Because as fun as that is for the humans, it's also a chance for the dog to be exposed to novel cues. You can't do that at the dog park. Everyone knows that's a disaster. People don't have that same responsibility here. They've all been screened for aggression. They all have their vaccine records checked, and it's just a party, and it's so much fun.
I love that. I'm excited to visit a Zoom room in South Florida, which you have tons of locations coming on, which is so exciting. Mark, I'd love to know, what does being successful mean to you, either personally, to your employees, to franchisees? Talk to me about the word success.
I don't think I could have answered you before last month when we had our big summit. It was in Dallas and everybody came. I can't say it was the first franchisee, national convention. I remember vividly our last one. It was in 2019. It was in the back of a Zoom room. There were, I think, 11 people there. And we talked a little bit, and then we went next door and we got milkshakes at a Cuban place that I liked. And that was it. And this time we took over the whole hotel. We had giant tour buses taking people out to different training events and to offsite things, to roller skating. We had whole seminars. We had all these vendors flown in and a whole alley for people to shop for these new products that we're carrying that we wanted to roll out. And we had 115 odd people there. And just standing out at the podium in a big conference hall and just seeing how emotional people were. I know I've seen the journey that some of these people have gone through and know what Zoom Room meant to them. And then it was really just, very much like the feeling I have sometimes as a parent. It's not when you're with your kid, it's when you're watching them at a distance, and just seeing tables of people who had never met before. Someone from West Des Moines talking to someone from Orlando, someone from Austin talking to someone from Virginia Beach. And just seeing these people who, if they were among their friends and saying, oh, I put together my whatnots today. What the hell are you talking about? But here, everyone knows what that means. And they all have had the same, you had a headache with your permit. Oh, let me tell you what happened with the people down at my city hall when I went for my permits. And they all have these war stories. They all have celebrations and frustrations. And just seeing the way they connected with each other. And then in the background, my whole team, all of the people that I'm employing, all the people that each franchisee is employing, how many people have these jobs? And then I didn't expect how many people would be in tears. And that was my first time. My head is down working so hard with my coffee in my inbox that I definitely am guilty of losing sight of that. And that was the big eye opener for me. It emotionally blew me away.
I feel it. Congratulations, Mark.
Thank you, Carl.
Just know that it's going to keep doubling, man. And it's going to get even cooler. You're going to need bigger hotels, bigger buses.
Absolutely. We're planning next year already because it's going to be almost 200 people next year.
That's awesome. Mark, I'd love to know, when we speak about inspiring stories that you just mentioned a little bit, I'd love to hear from you as a wrap up. What is your most inspiring franchisee that you've been hands-on with and really watched a journey evolve through them?
We have one, Colin, who's in Arrowhead in Arizona near Phoenix. And I remember he and his dad had this incredible relationship, which I connected to because of me and my son. And the two of them are lifelong devotees of baseball. And they're both grown-ass men, but they still, every summer, every spring break, whenever they can, travel around, and they always make sure they go to the games. They go to see if there's a new stadium. And that is such a rich part of their relationship. And it was something that they wanted to do together. Colin, the son, was going to be the one to run it. And he had never really done something like this, but he loves dogs and he loved the opportunity to really, really shine. And I remember at first, like the first day, it was just like, it's just a fire hose. It's because it's everything. There's dogs, there's all these people. Suddenly you're like on the stage and everyone's there wanting something from you, wanting nice things, but it's a lot. And I've seen him over time grow to be one of our most successful franchisees. He's signed on to do another location already. So he's opening a second store. He has fantastic people working for him. I see him on TV all the time. He's always being interviewed in the local news. And he is just such an inspiration. I mean, I just see not only I know he's made his father so proud, but like me too. And he was the one person at the summit who came up to me personally. And I'm out there. Everyone wants a piece of me, right? When I'm out there, they want to tell me what's going on. And he's just like, it was actually kind of like what you said. He's like, Mark, this must feel so good for you. You know, like what's this like? And he really wanted to connect with what my experience was and what the emotional journey was for me. And nobody had asked me that. I'm taking care of the things, but he kind of reversed it. I'm talking about him like as though I'm in this paternalistic role, which I'm absolutely not. But he really flipped that on me. And I mean, it really brought me to tears, and just that level of tenderness and maturity. And yeah, that was a big day for me.
It's beautiful. You got to not only water the flowers, but watch them bloom. It's pretty incredible. Well, Mark, from our listeners all over the globe, everybody jump in, zoomroom.com, get involved as Zoomroom looks to open new territories. I'm excited to have you on as a guest and use this as an opportunity to get the word out. I myself have a 3-legged rescue named Cece that is
awesome.
And very, very involved in 12 humane societies in the South Florida area. So I'm a big fan of Zoomroom, and congrats to you and the success. And we're beyond excited to watch you guys grow.
Thank you, Carl, so much. And thank you too for the work you do. We really appreciate that as well.
Thank you so much. That's it for this week's episode. I hope you found it helpful. Be sure to head over to our site, local-business-hacks.com, to check out the show notes and send me questions or ideas for future episodes. If you want to grow your business, just like the people you've heard from here, follow Local Business Hacks Podcast and tune in for new tips, tricks, and tactics. Until next time, thanks for listening and keep hacking.